Does that sound fine?
What's the boogeyman?
Welcome back to the Moonjuice Metal Horror Podcast, the podcast where we live and breathe heavy metal and horror, but not afraid to shit on both of them. I'm Mike.
I'm Matt. Yeah, so we were going to do Cold Storage, but we ended up not being able to go see that movie, so we'll probably put that a little bit further back. So we picked another movie off our list that we were going to do,
Yeah.
and we had talked about doing this one at the same time that we had done the first one. We did the first movie, and it's a movie that we both like so much that we wanted to do the rest of them, and we put them in our list, but we weren't sure when we were going to do them.
Yeah. The first one is definitely one of my favorite horror movies of all time. All the others so far in the series, there's been 6 movies with the remake 7. I would say the only one that is actually good, objectively spoken, is the first one.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen all of them. I've seen like the first 3, and I think the 5th or the 6th one. It's one of those franchises, only the first one was good. I didn't even hear of the remake until you told me.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it, so.
Yeah, that's just it. I think the remake was something that was done to capitalize off of the popularity of the first one by saying that it's a reboot of the first one. But it absolutely has absolutely nothing to do with these movies. Not in any way, not story-wise, not anything. This movie, as far as I can tell, picks up, what'd you say, like maybe a few years after the first one? Or possibly
shortly.
even is a few years after.
It's who knows? It's, I would say, shortly, a few months, years after the first one. So it's not necessarily a direct sequel to the original.
Yeah.
Because, well, the story follows an entire different group of people in an entirely different situation, even though, of course, plot-wise, it's the same.
Yeah.
But you can make that argument about any horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, when it comes to this movie specifically, it's okay. I liked it. I think before we started recording, you said you liked it too.
Yeah.
But overall, when you see the way it's filmed, the writing and the dialogue of the characters, it feels like a movie that was made by the Asylum.
Which is typical, right? There's few movies except for those that were meant to be kind of long-lasting legacy sequels that were written along with the original film, like Friday the 13th or something. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't necessarily written with the original film, but they kind of kept everything intact, including the quality, right?
Yeah.
The first movie of this series was a full production, right? With, famous actors and a top script and, a great director and all that stuff. And it did really well.
Yeah, it did.
And so this kind of capitalizes off of the first movie and how well it did, but production value is way, way, way lower than the first movie. However, the biggest argument that can be made for this movie being good is it retains everything that the original film, part 1, did well.
Yes, that's true.
So, right. So the kills are fantastic. The makeup is great. The acting is okay. I'm not going to say superb. There are some actors here that do a superb job. And then there are some actors that do a dreadful job. But that's okay. It's a horror film, right? And it's hard to complain about this film because if you're, it's like I said before we started recording, if you go into this expecting an amazing horror film, you're going to be sorely disappointed. If you go into this expecting a horror film that is fun, you'll be happy with it because it is. It's a fun horror movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the first movie. Anyway, what movie are we doing, Mike?
Wrong Turn 2, Dead End. It's an okay movie. You don't have this in every franchise, but also the only one that was actually really successful was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
All others are fine.
Yeah.
But just like I say, one thing you can say throughout the entire franchise, what it does is everything the first movie did right, they also do that as
Yeah.
well. They stay on that level.
With the exception
And
of the remake.
what? Except, yeah, I haven't seen the remake. Up until you told me, I didn't even know they were making a remake.
Yeah, the remake is a crime. It's a crime. It's a crime against horror, honestly.
Yeah, that bad?
Yeah, it's not that it's a bad movie, right? Because it's not. If they had made that a standalone film and called it something else,
Uh,
it would have been a horror movie people probably liked, but didn't really think about too much after they saw it. It's one of those, right?
yeah.
But it has absolutely nothing to do with this. The thing that makes this movie work is the fact that it builds on the trope of rednecks that live in West Virginia that are fucked up, that have been growing up off the grid, and they kill
Yeah.
people, right? And they eat them. And that's the premise of all of these movies, and they do
Yeah.
that well. They
Yeah.
do that well, and they don't try to mess with the formula, and they don't try to do anything extra weird or, out of the way. As a matter of fact, this movie kind of explains a few things that we didn't know in the first movie.
Yes, it too.
And
Yeah.
I like that because the
Mhm.
first it's not like the first movie had anything wide open that you really wanted to know answers to. This movie gives you answers anyway, including a character that we saw in the first movie that we kind of just thought was a random guy. It turns out he's not, right?
Yeah.
And I thought
The-
that was a cool little, like, oh, okay. So if you saw the
Yeah.
first movie, now you know what was going on in the first movie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then of course, as far as like cast and crew go, if you were gonna do a sequel to this that was gonna be under budget, because I'm not sure what the budget for this one was, but it considerably lower than the first movie.
Yeah.
What you don't want to do is just bring in no-name actors and hope that it's gonna go well.
Mhm.
There are 2 actors in this that are famous to horror specifically, and of course to, the music scene. You got Henry Rollins, who by far is the best actor in this film, and
Yeah.
there's nothing to hate there. The guy is a fan of punk music and metal, was also the lead singer for Black Flag, is a horror fanatic, and has been in a lot of horror movies, and he does a good job here. A really good job. For me, he kind of makes the movie. You also have Kurt Kurtzinger, who played Jason from Freddy vs. Jason, as one of the main antagonists in the movie too, and he also does a great fucking job. So not too much to complain about. Writing is a little off. The premise is a little strange. I'm not sure that whatever production these guys are trying to do in the woods as a reality TV show would ever get greenlit. Like it's a total disaster. But we'll get into that. Anyway, you want to get into the cast and the director and all that stuff?
Yeah, okay. Before we get into the cast and into the movie, if you like our podcast, don't forget to give us a subscribe, like, and leave a comment because it helps the channel out.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, actually, this movie has also a surprisingly large cast.
Yes.
We have Erica Learson, who plays Nina, Henry Rollins, of course, as we talked about, who plays Dale.
Yeah.
Texas Battle, that's one stupid name, but okay.
I love that name, dude. That is an epic fucking name. I saw that in the title card. Now it's like, who the fuck calls their kid Texas with the last name Battle? Like,
Prob-
either this is Jesus.
It's probably a stage name. It's probably not his
Jesus
real name.
Christ.
Wait,
Okay.
however, he plays Jake. Alexa Palladino plays Mara. Daniela Alonso plays Amber. Steve Brown plays John C. Okay, this is crazy. Matthew Curie Holmes plays. That is a character apparently.
Okay, what a name.
Michael, and a guy Michael that calls himself. We
Okay.
have Yanpei Crystal Lowe, who plays Elena. Okay. Kimberly Cadwell. Well, guess what? She plays Kimberly.
Love it
Wayne
when they do that.
Robinson. Wayne Robinson, who plays Old Timer. That's
Yeah.
our favorite character from the first one. Ken Kurtzinger, who plays Pa. Ashley Earl, who plays Ma. Clint Carlson. Okay, then Then we have brother, sister, and a lot of other people, but they don't. Okay, the two mutant kids, nah, played by Clinton Carlton and Rory Trio. Nah,
Yeah.
that, by the way, it's crazy how they make all of these actors look so insanely ugly.
Yeah.
Even
No,
though
the
if you look
makeup
at
is
them how they look
fantastic.
if you look how they look in real life, they're all pretty hot. No,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. The other thing I do like is that Two Fingers is back.
three
Like
fingers.
Three Fingers, yeah. Three Fingers is
Three
back.
Three Fingers, by the way, is in every movie, man.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I love that. This so if you look into the canon here, right? This
yeah.
guy has got to be the only member of the family who actually has like regenerative abilities. Like there's something going on with this guy that is not completely
No,
human.
he's not. He's not the only one. You see that in multiple scenes that the others have it as well, Matt.
Do they?
I mean, come on. One of these they get hit by cars, they get shot at, they get their
Yeah,
necks
yeah, okay.
broken. And
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I could chalk that up to them just being robust because they grew up in the wilderness, having to fend for themselves. They're just tough people, you know what I mean?
no, but
So, and you
no.
do see them like snap their neck back into place a few times.
Yeah,
So yeah, man, I
yeah,
guess I could see that. I guess I could see
yeah.
that. That Three Fingers has got to have like the double regenerative abilities that the
Maybe,
rest of them do because this
maybe,
guy
maybe.
has everything happen to him, including getting
Yeah.
shot in the gut point blank range with a sawed off double barrel shotgun and comes back
Mhm.
later in the film like nothing happened to him. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
But also it also states in the first movie that all of them have these regenerative abilities. As you can see, like in the end of the first one, where all of them start to just get back up, and
yeah, that's right.
everything.
I forgot about that. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, it's also their mutants also it also points out in this movie it explains where that comes from.
Yeah.
And it's not only incest, obviously.
Yeah.
It's also that there was once a chemical factory in this
Yep.
area, and when
Yep.
it shut down, all the chemicals just went into the groundwater. The
Yeah.
majority of people fled, but one family stayed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was probably more than one family because this is an entire community of people, these
Yeah.
rednecks. And they've, over generations, through all of these chemicals and incest, have just mutated into whatever they are now.
Yeah. It's a very The Hills Have Eyes kind of thing, which is what I
Exactly.
originally thought. Old Wes Craven film, the original, that's kind of exactly what you get. And I felt like this film kind of just did the same thing, except in the woods of West Virginia.
Mm.
Basically the same plot, basically the same everything.
Yeah.
And those guys also had the regenerative capabilities that these guys do. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's The Hills Have Eyes, but in West Virginia, and this is part 2. These guys, it's after the first movie, that's quite a death toll from the first film, and only one guy got away. So you would think two of them got. Oh yeah, that's right, 2 of them got away. You would think they would go back to society and be like, yeah, okay, so everybody got slaughtered, and this is the location. So at some point, the police would have gone out there and tried to figure out what was going on and probably had a tussle with these hillbillies and may have gotten killed. Or maybe they just decided it wasn't worth it, which is also a possibility because we all know West Virginia. If you live anywhere near there or are from there or heard stories, a lot of the times the cops won't even bother. They won't.
Yeah.
It's a real life thing. Somebody goes to West Virginia on a vacation, or these podcasters go out and they want to film video and talk to people, and they just don't come back. And this happens quite a bit. And so what the cops do is say, well, West Virginia is pretty big. We don't exactly know where they were. Is this really worth taxpayers' dollars to go find out what happened to these people? And they say no, and they just don't go. And I think that's a very highly likely scenario from what happened in the first film. I think that whoever they told their story to, they just took their story and were like, yep, sounds good to me. There's no way we're going to West Virginia to figure out what happened to these people. Fuck that. Because you'd probably wind up dead too.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like anybody else comes out here ever, unless
Well,
you take a wrong turn.
unless you take a wrong turn, but obviously people come out here occasionally, as you can see in the first movie. And in this one, it appears at least that the family in this one is a different family than Three Fingers family. No,
Are they though?
but well, yeah, you can say that it's a community. These are entirely different characters. They live in an entirely different building.
Define family.
Define family exactly, because
And
there's. I
community.
mean, like this. There's a safe bet that everybody in this community is one family. I
Yeah.
mean, because you can clearly see there's a lot of incest going on here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's front and center in the film this time. Like
Mm.
it's not like it's implied. You actually see it this go
You
around.
see it. You
Yeah.
see it. You see it in this one. And it's. Well, I would say one of some of the grossest scene, more or less. Yeah.
In my opinion,
However,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure how the first one starts out, but this one starts out with a road in the woods, and you see this girl driving in her red car down the woods, Kimberly, trying to get to this place where they're doing this new show she's supposed to be a part of. And throughout her phone call, you can hear her talking to her agent that he should get her better opportunities, film roles or whatever. Grace, oh no, you're going to earn it. However, throughout her conversation with her agent, you find out that this is going to be a reality show, like The Jungle Camp or Big Brother or something like that.
Yeah. It's basically Survivor.
Exactly. I don't really watch reality shows, so
I don't either, but I mean, it's so ingrained in American culture that even if you don't watch the show, everybody knows what it is.
yeah,
Survivor dominated American TV for the longest time. And that's
yeah.
all this is. It's just another version of Survivor.
I mean, exactly. As is, she comes up to a fork in the road and is not sure where to go, sees the sign of this paper factory, and then takes the left turn, I think, what obviously is the wrong turn. However, she hits a guy shortly after that and gets out of the car, totally panics, like, oh my God, I hope he's not dead. Tries to check to see if this guy is okay. You hear that he's choking on his blood, so she tries to pull out his tongue because I guess she thinks that he's choking on that for him not to swallow his own tongue.
Very brave move.
He jumps up. What?
Very brave move, by the way, to stick your fingers in someone's mouth that looks like that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. However, it happens what you expect to happen. This is one of the mutant hillbillies, and he jumps up and bites her in the mouth, also biting half of her mouth.
Yeah, like he bites her in the lips and basically bites her lips off. So when
yeah.
she comes back, you just see her teeth, you know?
Yeah, however, she gets up totally fucking panicking, obviously, until she turns around and she sees a big guy standing in front of her, another one of the mutant hillbillies. I think this is the character also referred to in the cast as Paw, and he just pushes her back, takes an axe, and hits her over the head
So
with it. Yeah?
he does not just hit her over the head. This is what drives me fucking crazy, Mike. And I told you I was going to do this. So I don't know how it is in the States. I need to ask my brother because he also has Amazon and I want him to log on and open this movie up because I've noticed that Amazon in Germany, for whatever reason, like I'm subscribed to this horror part of Amazon.
Me too, Home of Horror.
Yeah, Home of Horror, right? And so this is the second time I've gotten a movie and watched it and been like, wow, where are the fucking kills? What happened? Turns out they edit every fucking kill out of the movie that has too much blood. So what actually happens in the scene, and it's a shame because this kill is great, this opening kill. So all you see on the Amazon version is he hits her in the head with the axe and it cuts and goes to the next scene. What really happens, and I know you've seen it online because this is one of the kills that gets published over and over. You see her legs, like where she's standing on the pavement. The axe goes all the way through her to the pavement, sticks in the pavement, and her legs and her body split and fall two different ways with a big pile of guts in the middle, right? And I was like, this kill doesn't seem right. So I went on YouTube and I was like, kill count for Wrong Turn 2. And then that shows all the kills. All the kills in this movie are great with the exception of one of them. But that opening kill was fantastic. And the fact that everybody in Germany that wants to see this movie doesn't get that kill or any of the other good kills after that is a little bit disappointing. I don't feel like I need to pay for this horror service if they're not going to show me the kills, dude.
I'm going to be honest. No, that's something that doesn't really bother me.
No?
No.
Oh man, I think one of the best things about horror is getting to see like the kill effects. Because imagine watching Friday the 13th, you know, like part.
Yeah, but this isn't Friday the.
Yeah, but it is a slasher film in the woods. It is a slasher film in the woods, and what makes the movie good is the kills, in my opinion. Like the
Yeah, but I'm
story
going to
is
be
one
honest.
thing.
I did not even notice this. I mean, you can clearly see what's happening. You can see blood. You can see gore. I mean, I don't have to see it like for several minutes.
I get
Matt.
it. I get it,
Yeah.
Mike. But for most horror films, most horror fans, the reason why they watch these things is because of the gore. Like, and it's because of the kills, the creative ways. Like, we wouldn't even have guys like Tom Savini if it weren't for stuff like this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because that stuff takes most of the budget of the film, believe it or not. Like, when you talk about kills and how they do kills and all the makeup effects that go into it and the camera tricks, that's where the budget for the film goes. So if you see this movie without the kills, you're like, what are they wasting their money on in this film?
I never thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most people I know don't think about that extreme either.
It might be the fact that, you know, you're in Germany. I mean, Americans, everybody's like, oh, the fucking kills in this movie are amazing. Blah, you know, violence, violence, violence. Not that that's a good thing. I don't look at this and think, I want to see more gore because quite honestly, I don't really go for
Yeah.
that stuff that much, but I like the creativity behind it. I like
Yeah,
the
get that.
makeup effects. I like all the stuff that goes along with it, movie making tricks and kills and stuff like that. It's awesome. And that's the reason why I like Friday the 13th. Watching this movie without the kills is very strange.
No, the only thing that bothered me is that at least on Amazon they didn't have an English version available.
Yeah, that's annoying too. I had to watch it in
That-
German as well.
That's what annoyed me. The other thing I was like, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But I'm just super annoyed when I have to watch movies in German.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
am
mean,
too.
the only time I actually watch any entertainment in German is, of course, if I'm in a relationship at that time and my girlfriends did not
Want to
speak
see the English version.
English,
Right.
didn't speak English, or did not want to watch the English version because they
Yeah.
just preferred it in German because, you know, I mean, spoiler, the most of my girlfriends were all Germans.
Mine too.
Huh?
Mine too.
What?
Mine too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what though? With a movie like this, I'm not really sure the dialogue matters so much. So I didn't care.
No.
It
No.
sucks to have to watch it in German because I want the original take. On the other hand, I will say this. Okay. I don't know how bad the acting was in this movie because at least with dubbing, the dubber and the person doing the voice synchronization might be a better actor than the person in the film. So judging by some of these actors, it might have actually been a good thing that we saw it in German because I'm sure a lot of the lines came off very hollow and wooden.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, good. However, okay, then it's after the first kill, you basically see a scene where it sets up all of the characters, and because this the entire premise is this group of people that are filming a reality show, it also builds up that way. Now you have like Henry Rollins stating what this is. This is supposed to be a post-apocalyptic reality show where the world has ended and everything's radioactive and that kind of stuff.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, technically it would be cool.
Yeah.
Of course, and then you see all of the characters introduce themselves, and it's nothing really special about any of the characters. It's a total typical horror cast.
Yeah.
You have like the cool sports guy, you have the insecure girl, Mara. Then you have the rebellious goth chick, Nina. You have the hot it girl, and all those typical characters.
The stereotypes are there, yeah.
You have the sleazy nut job that is a complete fucking idiot, but
Yeah.
thinks he's a cool guy. Yeah,
It's all
Yeah.
there. And quite honestly, like they did that for the film, but
course.
if this were a reality show, the way that they've set it up, that's exactly who they would cast in real life as well.
Probably.
They would
Probably.
have, one tough chick who has military experience. They would have one football player who's a sports guy. They would
Yeah.
have one creep, and then they would have one blonde bimbo who is the chick who did not show up. Right? Which
Because
it's
she
worth
got killed.
yes, it's worth noting that right here when they introduce all the characters, they introduce her too, because they did a prior filming thing for
Yeah.
like a commercial for the series. And she's in it. She introduces herself and she points to the fact that she has a tattoo on her leg that is the infinity tattoo.
Mm.
And they're like, "What is that tattoo on your leg?" She's like, "Oh, it's the infinity symbol because I want to always be popular with pop culture. And so this symbolizes my popularity with pop culture." And I'm like, "That's going to come back somehow. That is going to come back in this
I
series
mean,
somehow. Otherwise, they would not have pointed it out."
that is pretty much after that, the opening scene. You have through this commercial they've prepared, then setting up all of the characters until it cuts back to the truck they're sitting in where everything is being filmed. And Henry Rollins' character, Dale, is like, "Oh, yeah, great job," and blah, 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 blah. Okay, then they get out and they have all of the people there that are supposed to participate in this reality show. And Henry Rollins is explaining basically the rules to everybody.
Right.
Shortly after he explains the rules to everyone, everybody is going to get set up into a group of 2 of all the 6 players. They notice that Kimberly never came. Now,
Mhm.
then they're talking to the girl that's the producer of the show. That is also the photographer, Mike, no,
Yep.
or M, is what he referred to as his girlfriend. Okay, what they have him and Henry Rollins, started to have a short conversation. "Oh shit, what are we gonna do? Because she's missing or whatever, and we need another person.
Yeah.
We can't do it only with 5." And then Mara, she agrees. Okay, she's just gonna go in as one of the players.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You see, like, the 2 guys that set up all the cameras, they set everything up, and they're like, "You know what? We've done our job. We're going home for 5 days. You can all go fuck yourselves."
Yeah.
Like, okay, if this
Sure.
is how filming a show works,
Yeah, let's
however,
not worry about the fact that cameras malfunction all the time. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Fine.
whatever.
I'm willing to let it
I mean,
go. Fine.
fine. Okay. Okay. After that, Mike collects the cell phones from everybody.
Yeah.
Puts them in a box and gives them to his friend. I don't remember the guy's
It
name.
doesn't matter.
I'm gonna call him the other guy. No?
Okay. The other guy.
Okay, the other guy takes the box and heads off to the woods because he wanted to take a leak before he locks up all of the cell phones. At this point, you see him with his, taking a leak in front of one of the cameras, and you see 3 fingers come up behind him and instantly killing him. First stabbing him in the neck, and then in the back, and then ripping a part of his hair off. No?
Yeah. Yeah, he
Yeah.
basically scalps the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he totally scalps him. Yeah. Yeah, this is
Your first introduction to Three Fingers as well.
yeah, at least this version of Three Fingers.
Yeah.
He's like Three
It is the
Fingers.
same actor, right?
No.
It's not the same actor. Fuck.
It's not the same actor. Three
Well, that's
Fingers is
sad.
played by a different actor. I'm pretty sure. Did I even get around to what actor is playing Three Fingers? Let me check. I have to go check and see Nope. Wait, Jeff Scruton.
Yep. Not our guy.
doesn't-
I like the other guy better.
Yeah, that guy, that actor is amazing. I like that. No, this is clearly not the same actor that played Three Fingers in the first movie.
Okay. Oh well.
No, it's a different actor. I'm not sure that the same, but we can check this just for a second. No, definitely not, because the actor we talk about is Julian Richings, that played Three Finger in the original one.
Yeah. And that guy's
Exactly.
been in so much stuff, and he was the perfect pick for that character in the first movie.
Yes, he done a brilliant job.
Yeah, that actually explains why we don't see this character that much in this movie. I just don't think he has the acting chops of the other guy at all.
No, not at all. I mean,
Because
that guy.
Three Fingers
one-
is my favorite guy in the first movie. Like every time you saw that guy on film,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
great
yeah.
because he's hysterical.
Yeah, of course, you can say he's also the most favorite the most popular character of the franchise.
Yeah, he's
Being the
fan
fact
favorite.
that
Absolutely.
he's in every single movie, but it's
Yeah.
just the actor Julian Richings. I mean, I love that guy's acting. So he played Death in Supernatural. I think I
Yep.
mentioned this in our first episode.
Yep.
And he was so brilliant in that role.
Yeah.
So total, this cold black humor with pure sarcasm.
Yeah.
He played that role brilliantly. I just love that actor. However,
He's great.
exactly. Then it cuts to the other girls walking in the through the woods. This is Mara and Nina.
Yeah.
Mara is trying to have a conversation, but Nina doesn't really care. She's like, yeah, fine, whatever.
It's a great conversation though, Mike. I like
Yeah.
this because she's basically like, it's the producer of the show and she's explaining to her, well, I guess we better find something for you to eat pretty quick because there's nothing to eat. And I know you only eat plants because you're a vegetarian. Maybe we could catch some fish. And she's like, no, I'm not that kind of vegetarian. I don't eat fish either. So she's like a hardcore vegetarian. And so the producer says,
Vegan.
hey, isn't your belt made of leather? And she's like, no, it's fake leather. I'm not a hypocrite,
Mhm.
So there's like this little bit of like picking on her that goes on that I think is a cool conversation. They didn't just not write good conversations in this. I appreciate it when actors or characters like interact in this way. It makes it more believable. So I like that conversation. It was cool.
Yeah, but well, how should I say it? Not necessarily that I don't like those conversations, but I just find those conversations are boring. If it happens in a movie, I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. But these are typical conversations in real life that annoy me. When somebody is just trying to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
No, it comes up with stuff that you are just not interested in at all.
Yeah.
But they come up with something because they want a conversation to happen.
Right.
And a lot of people do it, and it annoys the shit out of me. It's just like when you're in a group of people at work and somebody comes in like, oh, what are you guys eating for lunch? That kind of a thing that people do at work.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there. You can come in and can clearly see what I'm eating.
I know what you mean.
No, I mean, nothing against the person that does that. I know a lot of these people are good people. They're cool people, but it's just like every time somebody does something like that to me, I'm sitting there like, fuck.
I know. There are different kinds of people. There are people who would rather be left alone and not have to make small talk, but there are human beings that just seek conversation, right? For no reason at all. They just feel like I'm not really here unless I'm having a conversation, and so they have to start talking. And it annoys me too, but I've since made peace with it because there's so many of those fucking people.
I know.
Like, just let everybody be in peace. You don't always have to be talking, and silence is not always awkward. But
Yeah, exactly. However, shortly after that, it cuts back to Henry Rollins. Him setting up a few things in the woods with all of his stuff. I'm not sure if this happens before or after he gets his bike. But however, he's setting things up in the woods, then goes back to his four-wheeler and sees that the airs are flat and their air was sticking into it. Then he says something like, yeah, these
fucking weekend
kids,
campers is what he says.
weekend campers or whatever. He goes back a few meters into the woods until he gets hit by a knife.
Yeah.
And then he pulls it out and throws it back at him. Then this is where Three Finger comes in.
Yeah.
To the
This is Three Fingers, yeah.
You see Three Fingers throwing the knife back at him, attacking him, and then he has arrows being shot at him.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think he manages to overpower Three Fingers, but then you see like the big guy, I'm going to call him Jason now because
call him Jason because he is.
Jason,
I mean, that's Jason.
Then Jason is standing behind him and then punches him in the head, and then his lights are out.
Yeah. The interesting thing about this, there's kind of a part that we missed to mention, but I mean, it's worth mentioning, is that Henry Rollins, this is his show, right? And he chose West Virginia and specifically this area to film it in because he's from here, right?
Yeah.
He's from this area. And there was a comment made by, let's call this character dumbass. We have that in every movie, right? This character's dumbass. The stupid kid that's the total creep. He says something about, yeah, we need to be careful out here, all these dumb rednecks and blah, 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 blah. And Henry Rollins' character snaps on him and says, you better watch your mouth. I'm from this area. I grew up here. I know the woods. Let's keep those kind of comments to a minimum. And on top of that, this guy also has military training. He's a retired colonel from the United States or Marines, I think. Yeah, United States Marines.
Yeah,
So he also knows how to fight. He also knows how to disarm people. He knows how to take care of himself in the woods. So this guy's an outdoorsman, right? And I don't think that Three Fingers was expecting that because he thought he was just going to take him out with the knife, but he immediately pulled it out and threw it right back at him and hit him in the back. So from this point on, this guy he's on warpath mode now. You pissed him off.
Yeah.
So
then it cuts back, I think, to the other girl and creep.
Other girl
the
and
dumbass.
creep, yes.
They're walking through the woods, and the other girl just doesn't want to have anything to do with creep because, well, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then I think it cuts back. The beginning is a little bit hard to follow.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth. They're trying to run character development here.
Exactly. Then it cuts back forth to the football guy, the hot it girl, and the photographer. Right. For some reason, the photographer is only around these two people. He tries to get set up a kind of spicy situation between football guy and it girl. She gets into the water, starts taking her clothes off, and she's topless or whatever. Then the football guy is just not really interested, probably for multiple reasons.
Well, he says why.
He says why. I'm not here to do porn. I'm not here to do this shit on camera. I mean, understandably.
Dude, if this guy had put me in this situation, I'd be fucking furious. So he's absolutely right. Like, he's like, I have like 7 nieces that are going to see me in this show, and they'll never talk to me again if I do something like this.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's just for the show, you know.
It's it's a pretty dick move to put somebody in that situation. Yeah, obviously the hot it girl was cool with it. No, apparently that kind of bugs you. I mean, she was in on it.
She was in on it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and okay, she agreed to it for whatever reason. Fine, but this is also something. It just really sucks if you don't tell the people up front. Yeah, that is. However, then of course the football guy fucks off because fuck you guys and leaves. And then the photographer guy wants to leave, but then it girl, because apparently she's horny as hell. Yeah, she seduces him because she actually wanted the football guy, but now that he's gone, you're the only guy here, and I want to fuck. So, basically,
So he drops trowel, and she starts giving him a blowjob right there in the woods, right?
Yeah.
This is so typical horror movie trope, dude. It really is.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, you have to have things like this in these movies to keep people interested, I guess.
Yeah. But the thing is, the producer of the show, Mara, is this guy's girlfriend.
Yes.
Now, what is also, I mean, it's typical horror movie stuff, but okay, the guy's a dick. However, because instantly you see it cuts back to Nina and Mara walking through the woods. And guess what? They walk by this lake and see Mara sees a hot it girl giving her boyfriend a blowjob. And it's like, it's so fucking stupid. You're out in the middle of the fucking woods, man. I mean, by one, I think cheating generally is a shitty move, regardless who does it. But it's insanely stupid to do that out in the woods where at every time you can be seen by every single fucking angle, knowing there's an entire team of people also in exactly that same
with
area.
Cameras. Yeah. It's dumb.
Everything's being filmed.
It's dumb, but it's a horror movie trope. I'll let him get away with it because it furthers the story, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is dumb as shit and kind of out of place.
Yeah, I mean, basically, that is pretty much the first big portion of the movie. it cuts through all of these different scenes. Nina tries to, how should I say, trösten? No?
She
What's the
tries
English
to
term?
comfort the other girl because she's
Yeah.
really
Yes.
upset and sad
Yeah,
at the fact that she just caught her boyfriend cheating in the woods.
exactly. I mean, Nina tries to comfort her and whatever. Then it cuts back to Creep and the other girl. They find a fireplace where meat is being grilled and decide to take it back to the original camp
Right.
for whatever reason.
This is already a dick move, though. Because if you see somebody set up out in the woods and they're grilling, you're just going to take their meat. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it'll come back to bite them in the ass anyway, but however, I think due to this fact, Mara and Nina cuts back to them again, and Mara just wants to get the fuck out of here. Obviously, fuck this shit, she thinks, but she doesn't have a phone. And then they come across this one cabin, and Nina and Mara are going through it and don't really see that much because it just looks to be like a normal cabin in the woods until they come across pictures of Three Fingers and the Mutant Hillbillies.
Right. They kind of realize what's going on. They're in a house of, backwoods West Virginia people who are mutated. Like that's what the photos show. So as they're about to leave, they hear people coming in the front door, right? So they hide back in the room and they leave the door a little bit open so that they can watch what's going on.
Yes.
And there's this woman who's screaming at the top of her lungs. And, there's a guy who's following her. They lay her on the table, and this is one of the mutants as well. These are two mutant family members. And the woman starts having a baby right there in the middle of the room. And it's a pretty nasty scene. Like, these people are dirty, mutated, disgusting. She's screaming and she has a baby. When the baby comes out, it's obvious to everybody who's watching that the baby is also a mutant because the face is just distorted and, messed up looking. The baby's screaming, and one of the girls back in the room, when she sees the baby, freaks out a little bit and makes a sound, which makes the rednecks notice that they're in the house, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens then is the rednecks are trying to get back into the room that they're in so that they can get them. They barricade the door and then realize that the only way out of this cabin, because all of the windows are barred up, is through the bathroom that's built in the house. And this is disgusting. This is like an indoor outhouse. So you know how people have outhouses in the woods if they live there? This is an outhouse in the house. So it must smell awful, right? But they realize the only way out is to go through the outhouse, which is fucking disgusting. So they start tearing through the outhouse and they go down underneath all the shit and everything and come out the other end. And that's when the family realizes that they're outside. So they're running away, and the family, I think it's 2 people, are chasing them. No, 3 people. Because I want to say Three Fingers is there as well.
Yes, it's the son and Pa because the other girl is back taking care of the mutant baby that was just being born. Mara gets an axe in her head.
Yeah.
That I remember.
Yeah.
Then and Nina keeps on running and manages to hide.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
But you have Pa looking for her. But she crawls up behind a tree log and actually manages to stay hidden from Pa. Then you see, I think it's the son with the car pulled up, and they have like Mara tied onto the hutch of the car.
Tied onto the hood of the car like a deer. Yeah.
Like a deer, exactly. Then he's eating on her finger, biting something off, and throws the finger out of the woods, lands right in front of Nina.
Yeah.
He now puts her hand in front of her mouth to prevent herself from screaming. Then Pa gets back in the car, and him and the son, they drive off with Mara dead on their head. The funny thing is, is when I saw this movie the first time, I thought Mara was going to be, the way it was set up, you had the impression that Mara was going to be the girl that, fought her way through until the end.
Right.
That's how they set that up. But
and then she gets an axe to the head. Yeah.
But she's the first one to get killed. That was what I thought was interesting. You want to bring something up? Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering because I can't remember, and I have seen the first movie a few times, but it was established in the first movie that these people are cannibals, right?
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I know that I remembered seeing them kill people and cut people up, but I couldn't remember if we actually saw them eat human flesh.
Well, how should I say it? Not necessarily. Never said them specifically eating them, but you saw. I mean, you saw how they cut these people up. It's how pigs and cows are being cut up. It's
Yeah, and I think they
specifically
had body parts in their refrigerator too, right?
yes,
Yeah,
they have
yeah,
body
okay.
parts in the refrigerator, and you saw a soup cooking on the stove, and then they went in there with a spoon and saw human teeth in it.
Right.
So that kind of implies that
Yeah,
these guys.
yeah. So there can I couldn't remember if they did or not because this scene of him chewing on the finger of Mara kind of like lets you know that they're cannibals, and I couldn't remember if it was in the first film or not, but I guess it was. Okay.
Yeah, but okay. Then Nina totally, like loses it and runs. And shortly before this, it cuts back to Henry Rollins. That is now being hanged up by his feet and is hanging down. This is where you have like a kind of scene going on between him and Three Fingers.
Right.
Because Three Fingers is being a total fucking psychotic idiot as well.
As usual. Yeah.
Stabs him a few times with a knife while laughing.
Mhm.
Until he gets onto a sharpening stone and starts to sharpen his knife. And I actually think this scene happens actually before they get to the cabin in the woods. So I think we brought that up a little
It's okay.
bit.
This movie is like a bunch of scenes loaded into a shotgun and then blasted on the screen. It's
more or less, yeah. Just like because the first what might make it a lot of confusing to a lot of people is you just have like a lot of scenes that are just cut in between different characters.
Yeah.
For a very large portion, the only type of horror movies you very often seen this specifically kind of editing is with the Asylum movies.
Yeah. That's why this feels like an Asylum film because it's a series of scenes. Yeah.
Exactly. Just like because that's every Sharknado movie. But that's done purposefully.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be they literally just make one scene after another.
Yeah.
And it's just very confusing to follow because all of these scenes, of course, belong to the same plot, but how it jumps between all God. Well, I mean
it's to keep the audience on their toes. Like they film these without it, and it happens in a lot of horror movies, like you say. They film these knowing that they're going to cut them into the final product, but they don't really know where. And then eventually they end up cutting them in to keep pace, right? So it just keeps the film going the way that they cut it, but it is confusing as shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's confusing if like this is a podcast where you want to go through it scene for scene. You just mix shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier just to like stay linear and keep going because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when this happened, right? The only thing that comes out of this scene that kind of gives it a little bit of continuity is the fight that happens here and the outcome of that fight, right?
Exactly, because this is where Henry manages to free himself, his feet at least, then starts a fight with Three Fingers. This is a fist fight, knife, but not necessarily a fist fight because Three Fingers has a knife, Henry manages to get a knife, and then he has this fight scene with Three Fingers. That actually, I would say, one of the best parts of the movie.
Very well choreographed. I will say that.
Exactly.
They did a good job making this whole thing believable, and it's fun to watch. I think specifically like the movements here, like he gets the knife away from Three Fingers by disabling him, and then sticks the knife into a table in front of him, and his hands are still bound because he was able to cut his feet loose. His hands are still bound, and as the knife is stuck in the table, he wraps his hands around the knife and then cuts himself free while the knife is sticking in the table. And right when he cuts himself loose, Three Fingers attacks him again, right?
Yeah.
But the shotgun that Three Fingers had is up against a tree close to them. So Three Fingers is nowhere near the shotgun.
Yeah.
So in the tussle, Henry Rollins knocks him over and is able to get a hold of the shotgun. And when Three Fingers stands back up, he just blasts him in the chest. And he shoots him so hard, like at point blank range, that he flies like probably 50 meters and then into the water, right? So you think this guy's dead because a normal human wouldn't be able to survive that.
No, but I'm not sure if you hit somebody from that, he hits him pretty. I mean, I guess somebody would fly pretty far.
You would
if you hit him. With
yeah.
Shotgun,
so depending on the shotgun, even that one at point blank range, you would send somebody flying. You would. I mean, that's a hunting shotgun. And at point blank range, that has quite a lot of velocity to the round.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
and you got to think a shotgun too. At least that kind of shotgun is not like a combat shotgun where the combat load is basically centered even at a distance. This is one that's meant to destroy stuff from a distance. So the spread on the shrapnel from this gun is very wide and therefore has a lot of velocity. So if you shoot somebody point blank range with that thing, that is a lot of velocity. So yeah, it's completely believable that he flies 50 meters into the water.
Yeah.
Plus, he's
Yeah,
not
okay.
the biggest guy. Three Fingers is kind of a skinny little light. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. That's true. Yeah, yeah. However, then it cuts back to okay, the scene with Mara and Nina being chased, and father and son mutant, kind of, and the thing with Henry. These are things that happen simultaneously, but
Yeah.
it's kind of difficult to put them scene by scene just because these are just it jumps from scene to scene, whatever.
Yeah.
You see at least it cutting back to the other three people. I think what's his name?
Football guy?
The creep, football guy, and the other girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sitting there and eating, like actually thinking that it's pork what they're
Yeah.
eating.
They even say that. They're like, I love the
Yeah.
taste of pork.
Yeah, yeah. Until Nina comes, then Nina comes out running out of the woods and is totally hysterical.
Yeah.
And is explaining everything that happens. We have to get out of here. There's a bunch of psycho hillbillies that are killing everybody. Mara is dead or whatever. The football guy and the other girl are like, okay. They're not sure if this is actually real. They just think that you can see from their expressions that Nina is freaked out and they kind of want to comfort her, but they don't really believe it at the time. But the creep, he's a total fucking douche at this.
Yeah.
And he's like, he just is like, oh no, come on. This is a reality show.
Yeah.
It's post-apocalyptic. The producer that's doing that to fuck with you almost goes after the creep.
Yeah.
To prevent them until they turn around and they see a tattoo on what they thought was one of the pork chops.
Yeah.
And they know that Kimberly had exactly that tattoo. That is when they realized that they were eating Kimberly.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Which
Of
is
course.
great. Which is great.
Exactly.
I love that color. That's awesome. I love it because immediately when creep guy realizes it, he just fucking Ralphs everywhere. It's like, shit, we were eating Kimberly, and he starts puking as they're trying to get away,
Then, of course, that convinces them that they have to get out of here. And then those four decide to, just get out of there and decide to walk towards the truck where they were going. It cuts back to Mike and It Girl that were banging, and she's getting her clothes back on, and I'm not sure what they were talking about. Just that Mike got his camera and wanted to went off. He told her, here, please don't tell Mara because, it's actually serious with her and I want to be with her and whatever. And It Girl's like, you know what? I don't care.
I don't give a shit.
I mean, I was horny. I wanted to fuck. Fine. I don't care.
Yeah. Right.
What? I mean, instantly just makes her as a character likable because she's just fucking honest.
She doesn't care.
I mean, this guy is a shit weasel that is cheating on his girlfriend. His girlfriend is quite hot to begin with, and It Girl didn't even know that he had a girlfriend. He's just like, you know what? I'm horny and I want to fuck. So what makes her likable just because she's fucking honest about it,
Yeah. I get it. And then she decides to just have a lay down right there on the sand while he goes back to get his fucking camera.
I mean, of course, because at the moment she doesn't see anything bad happening or not. She's afraid. It's good weather. She's laying in front of a, kind of place where I guess a lot of people would have made the decision. He decides at least to go off and, continue with his work. Just like you said, while she has a lay down.
Yeah.
Then it comes back to
thing, did you notice this though, Mike? There's several scenes here where they're talking about, oh, the sun's out and it's beautiful. A couple characters say this. The sun's out and it's beautiful. And she says it here again. She's like, yeah, the sun's out and it's beautiful. I'm just going to lay here. There's no sun out in this scene or any of the scenes. It is like, I don't know, overcast the entire time, but they keep saying the sun is out. I just noticed that. I was like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever.
Okay, I didn't even think about that. But
Yeah.
however, You can see like the sun mutant watching her.
Yeah.
From a high ground, jerking off.
Yeah.
To her.
This is a good scene.
However, this is what his sister comes and is totally pissed off because he's like jerking off to this hot chick, and then just decides to run down and fucking kill her.
Yeah. That's what happens. She's jealous. Because
She's
yes,
jealous.
this is her brother, but this is an incestual family, so she's jealous.
Yeah, yeah. However, then she kills him. The mutant son is kind of a little bummed out by it, but then they're both like, okay, that's fuck.
Yeah. And then you get the incest.
That comes later.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, they start banging here too. You just don't see it.
That comes later because now I just have the movie in front of me and I just have the scene with Henry and Three Fingers going on. That's kind
Okay.
of what this happens because after that scene with the It Girl, it cuts back to the family.
Yeah.
And they're driving up with Mara to Three Fingers.
Yeah.
They take Mara's dead body and throw her on the ground.
Yeah.
And this is also something that we forgot to mention because in the fight between Henry Rollins and Three Finger, once he knocks out Three Fingers is dead. He just knocked him out. No, with the
Yeah.
shotgun.
Yeah.
He tries to check on Mara because he's not sure if she's dead, not or yet, but notices that she's dead.
Yeah.
Gets a few weapons together and then just, leaves. Then after that, it cuts back to Mike that went back to the truck to get his equipment or look at his material or whatever. Then he looks at all the different cameras, sees that one of them is running. He at this point does not really know what's going on.
Right.
He's like, oh yeah, this is good material, no? Until I don't know, I think one of the cameras glitches out.
Yeah.
And then he goes under the desk to try to figure out if it was something with the cable or whatever.
Yeah.
At this time, it goes up to one of the cameras and you can see somebody walking up to the truck where he's in, and you can see him as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the mutant hillbillies. You can just see that mutant hillbilly closes the door and then walks up to the driver side, and you already see somebody sitting in there. At this point, you don't know it yet. It's like the Ma and Pa mutants,
Right.
and they just get in the car and take off.
With him in the back, wondering what the fuck is going on. I love it.
And Mike is back there, not knowing the hell what's going on, is screaming at. I'm not sure what his friend's name was, but he's like, "Hey, guy, dude, what are you doing?"
I'm
Opens
trying to
up the
work
door.
back here. Yeah.
Yeah. Opens up the drawer to the driver compartment and sees that these two mutants are driving the truck.
Right.
And then Jason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jason just grabs him by the neck and then beats the shit out of him.
Yeah. Sticks an arrow. He grabs one of his arrows and sticks it through his shoulder.
Yes.
And pins him up against, which this guy is strong as fuck, dude. Because if you take an arrow like that and stick it into the wall of a camper, I'm not really sure that would work. But he puts it all the way through the camper, so it's sticking out the other side.
Yeah, you would have to put a insane amount of force, but it's also stated that these are mutants.
Yeah.
They have regenerative abilities. So I guess probably it might not be that far-fetched that one or two of them are stronger than normal people at least. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, however, this verse kind of is supposed to imply that Mike is getting killed, and you just see the truck drive off, and then, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
For that part.
That's the last time you see Mike alive. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I think after this is, I think, where it actually starts to stop, like cutting so extremely between these different people, or unless it does not really, I would say you don't really notice it that much because kind of the same situation happening with all of these characters.
Right.
It cuts back to the woods where the other 4 leftover players that are still alive are running through the woods until Nina steps on a nail.
Yeah.
In the middle of the woods, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Sure.
However,
it doesn't really say where the nail came from either. It's just a nail in something.
Exactly. However, then, like the football guy, tries to take care of her foot. He says, "Oh yeah, we have to have a bandage on it." He puts something around her. I think the band she has on her wrist.
Yeah.
And this is like, without any further thought, football guy just says, "Hey, you two, just go off over there somewhere. Just keep on running."
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
this
a
is not
plot
like
device. Yeah.
it's a plot device, obviously, but it's like at least in a
Maybe
lot of
stay
other movies,
together. Maybe stay together and cover me while I'm bandaging up her wounds would be a smart
yeah,
idea.
or often it has some kind of logical explanation why these things are happening. Because
Yeah.
of course they're running toward they want to get towards the truck so they can leave.
Right.
But it's just like, oh yeah, fuck it, I'll just keep on running. It'll be fine.
Yeah. It doesn't make a whole
However,
lot of sense, but it doesn't have to.
no, not really. You see, like the creep and other girl come to the place where the truck actually is. Nina and football guy come up shortly after them.
Right.
Then they notice that the truck is gone.
Yeah.
And this is the point where they all kind of start to freak out because the creep falls on the floor and sees a bear trap. He knows, like, well, there aren't no animals here around. Why do they need bear traps? And this is where Nina brings up the point, yeah, they're hunting humans.
Yeah.
And they're more or less eating us.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, Nina could probably piece this together from what she's seen, because she's seen that these hillbilly rednecks are hunting people like humans. She's seen it firsthand. Then they don't know. They have a short discussion on what to do. I think Nina, the football guy, brings up the paper factory. Huh? So
Yeah.
they decide first to go there and just hide for a minute, or to find a place to hide.
Yeah.
It's a pretty smart move. Then it cuts back to Henry Rollins that is now coming towards the same cabin where Nina and Mara were
Yeah.
coming up. And this is the scene where we have the "if you say so" guy from the first
From the
part.
first film, who is, in my opinion, one of the best actors in the first film.
Yeah,
Even though he had
and I
such a
told you
small
he's going to
part.
come back
Yeah.
in the second part. No? And this is
What I love is they've retained the fact that he's disgusting and drinking milk the entire time. That was the part of the first movie where I was like, that's just disgusting. Because he's sitting outside in this god awful heat in the first film, drinking warm milk.
but that's not milk what he's drinking.
What is it?
Isn't that this one medicine against heartburn?
I don't know. In the first movie, it was milk.
I remember this stuff. There was a kind of medicine that was kind of in like these kind of bottles that was against heartburn, and it was pink. Because if you look
Pepto-Bismol.
at it, what?
Pepto-Bismol.
Pepto-Bismol. Because
Yes.
if you look at it, what he's drinking is pink.
Okay.
And
Okay.
as far as I know, milk isn't pink.
Yeah. I'm colorblind as shit, so I may have missed that. But
I
okay.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. So he's drinking Pepto-Bismol, which is still disgusting.
It is
Whatever.
pretty disgusting. And this is like a lot of people first in the first movie, you think like this is just some local that knows how to hide from these guys or whatever.
Yeah.
But specifically through this discussion now that you have in the second part, I knew that I knew that pretty much from the beginning, because I mean the second part came out a few years after the first part,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people that never seen anyone beyond the first part, however.
Yeah.
And this, I think the what's his name? However, the old
doesn't
crazy
matter.
guy, "You say so" guy. That's his famous line in the first.
Yeah, the
in
you
the
say
first
so
movie.
guy. You say so.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a talk. He has a discussion with Henry Rollins, explaining everything to him. Because Henry Rollins like, hey, who are these people or whatever? You can see Henry Rollins, stitching his wound up.
Yeah.
And then the old guy explains more or less everything to
Yeah.
him. That there was this chemical factory up there, and at one point it was given up, and all the chemicals went into the ground floor. The majority of people left, but some of the people stayed, and their kids just started to get uglier and uglier. And they grow up and start to have kids of their own, and then they just started to get uglier and uglier.
Yeah.
And then he starts to explain to a lot of these people, he hit one of these people once with a truck, and he just got up and started running. Well, so they're much more stronger than people like us or whatever. This is then Henry Rollins just asks, okay, why are you staying here, whatever?
Yeah.
And then he's like, what should I have done? Why should
Yeah.
I leave? And then when Henry Rollins looks away, and then you say so guy is just like, yeah, I can't leave my kids alone. And then
Yeah.
he just gets up and starts attacking him. This is, of course, more or less what shows that he is more or less one of them. It also showed a picture of his wife, He was like, "Oh yeah, my beautiful wife. I was so happy with her until she died or whatever." So apparently, a few of these mutants are his
kids. Yeah.
brothers, uncles, sons, nieces, or a combination of some of them.
Combination. I would say combination. Yes.
Yeah, a combination. Cool scene, by the way. Yeah, then the fight scene begins between You Say So guy and Henry Rollins. Now,
Right.
Henry Rollins lights the dynamite and puts it into the guy's back pants, then
Yeah.
runs out. You Say So guy comes running out just with his shotgun, not even thinking the fact that he has dynamite strapped to his back. Really just knows something on his back and he explodes.
It's a good scene because I don't think
Yep.
he even knew the dynamite was in his back because
Yeah.
when the scene started, when they were still being friendly with each other, Henry Rollins noticed there's a big roll of dynamite in the room. He's like, "What's the
Yeah.
deal with the dynamite?" And the guy said, "Oh, well, that's how I go fishing. You know, I
Yeah.
take the dynamite and I throw it in the water and it kills them and they float to the surface and then you just scoop them up, you know, so that's why I got the dynamite." And so when he's getting in a fight with him, he remembers the dynamite's there, picks it up, lights it, and sticks it in the back of his shirt. And the guy doesn't even realize it's in there. So when Henry Rollins runs out, this guy runs out after him with the shotgun. And then while he's standing there and everything's quiet, he hears the sizzling of the dynamite. And he kind of looks around and explodes, like you said. And it's a good effect. Like, this is done well. This is one of the kills in the movie where it actually looks pretty believable. I liked it. I had to go on YouTube to see if they'd cut it. They cut maybe a few seconds of it, but it's one of the better kills in the movie because he literally explodes all over the place. It's
Yeah.
just a hail of guts and blood.
Yeah, well,
so
okay,
that guy's toast.
Yeah, that guy's toast. After that, it cuts back to the other 4 survivors that are now running through the woods until they hear noises.
Mhm.
Now this is the other 2 mutant kids banging.
Yes.
What can clearly, I mean, this is another thing where I think you guys are idiots because they're any person would obviously hear what's happening here. I mean,
Yeah.
they're 2 people banging. I mean, instantly by that thought alone, you're probably not going to want to see these people naked.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they walk up towards them and then start screaming at them.
So the reason is, Mike, I don't know if you caught
Yeah.
this because it's one of those things that if you're not watching close enough, you'll miss it. So
Yeah.
this girl, this mutant that is getting banged by her brother is the same girl that killed the girl on the beach, right?
Yeah.
And so she's also wearing the pants or skirt of that girl. Like she stole the clothes, right? And she's also wearing the shoes that she's wearing.
So,
And on top of that, so when these guys see this girl getting banged, they think it's her getting raped
they think
by
she's
one of
being
the
raped.
hillbillies,
Yeah.
right? And so as they get closer, because they want to rescue her, when they get closer, they realize that it's one of the mutants because she leans her head back and pulls her hair off, which is the hair of the girl that she killed on the beach. So she scalped her and was wearing her hair as well. So, and it's one of those things that if you weren't watching close enough, you completely missed that. But she stole her clothes, her shoes, and her hair because she scalped her. So then when she pulls her hair off, they realize it's not her and that it's one of the redneck girls. Right. So that's what happens.
Yeah. However,
It's fucking brilliant. And then had they done that a little better, it would have been more effective.
probably. Yeah. Yeah. However, then they push the son away, and he hits his head on a rock, breaking his neck. The mutant sister comes up, walking up towards him, and he gets instantly back up and then puts his head back into place. You can hear his neck cracking or whatever, and then they run at them. However, the 4 run away, manage to get away from them. Then you see the 2 kids running up towards the truck. Now Jason is pulling up with their truck. They get in and then run off. It cuts back to Henry Rollins that is now preparing himself for war, making dynamite arrows and all of that. Nah, he's preparing off for full war now.
Oh yeah, he's pissed, dude. You gotta like this character.
Yeah. Then it cuts back to Creep and the other girl. Somehow, the Creep got injured. I don't really remember how. I can just see it now. The movie is running right next to me. Jason and the son are chasing Creep and the other girl.
Right.
They run a little bit through the woods until Creep steps into a trap and gets strung up on one of his legs.
Yeah. It's a rope trap,
Okay,
like your Looney Tunes
what?
rope trap. It's
Yeah,
your
the
Looney
red rope.
Tunes rope trap that they use in horror movies that don't make any sense
Yeah,
because this doesn't work this way. But it's okay. It's all right.
yeah.
I'll let it
How
go.
I think other girl tries to free Creep, no, but can't get the rope. I mean, if you look at the knot, it's like, well, you could easily just loosen the knot,
But she
but
doesn't.
okay, Leonard.
Yeah. Right.
She doesn't. She goes over to the because she sees an axe laying around, but instantly steps into another rope trap.
And gets pulled up right next to him. Yeah, dude.
Exactly. This is like the way these two. This is bad acting because
Yeah.
they know that they have these mutant rednecks behind them. The sun comes up screaming at them, laughing, and they're just acting like it'll be okay. It'll
Yeah.
be fine. The other girl is
They're
even
the
talking to.
world's two most nonchalant pinatas at this point.
However, you have like the other girl talking to Creep is like, yeah, I'll get us out of here. Just trust it, whatever. And but in the same time, you see like Jason with his son. Now, Jason wants to shoot them both
Yeah, with
until
bow and
he
arrow.
until
Yeah.
he gives over the bow to his kid. It's like, oh no, I'm going to teach my kid to how to hunt now. Of course, the son takes the bow and arrow, aims, and shoots. This is a pretty nice kill because it goes through Creep's head
Yeah.
and right into the other girl's head as well.
Yeah, they just shish kebab him through the back of her head and through
Yeah.
his eye. And he
Exactly.
says something like before he dies, he says something like, my mom, like you thought it's cool because you thought you were going to get some type of little bit of a backstory here. And he
Yeah.
starts to tell it and immediately gets killed. So you don't even get to hear what he says.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
yeah.
the
I mean,
filmmaker's way of saying, nobody gives a shit about these characters' backgrounds. Just fucking kill them. And that's what I
Yes.
like that. I like little subtle things like that.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, these two are dead now.
These two are dead. Shortly before, what I forgot to explain is how Nina Football Guy and the other two got separated.
Yeah.
It's because they ran into two different directions out of panic. Football Guy and Nina managed to get away because they jumped off of a cliff into the water.
Yeah.
So the mutant rednecks couldn't get towards them. However, now it cuts back to Nina and Football Guy that managed to get back out of the water and start to make their way towards the factory. Good. Cuts back to Henry Rollins again, showing that Henry Rollins is now full in Rambo mode.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put. That's the
It
best
is.
way to put
He's
it
out
out.
to murder him, dude. Like he's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to kill him. Yeah.
It cuts back to Mutant Girl driving through the car and screaming out of the top of her lungs. Then
Why?
it cuts
Yeah.
back. Yeah,
Redneck
why? However,
behavior. Sure.
it cuts back to Nina and Football Guy that now have arrived at the chemical or paper factory. That's another weird thing because they mention a paper factory multiple times on the
Yeah.
signs, but it's clearly a chemical factory.
Right. I noticed that
Now-
too. I wasn't sure what that was about, to be honest.
I'm not fully aware of how paper is made. I'm going to be fully honest about this, but I'm pretty sure chemical factory, paper factory are probably not the same thing.
Right. Well, I think the chemicals that they're talking about are just the chemicals used at the paper factory, but they don't say that. They say paper factory and then chemical factory, and I wonder why nobody caught that in the script.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. There's a shit
doesn't
ton of
matter.
chemicals from a factory
mean-
of some kind.
It's one of those things. It's not really that big of a deal. It's
Yeah.
just that might be a writing error and a small plot hole, but okay, if it's a paper or chemical factory, who cares? Does not really change things. However, they're walking through this factory, go upstairs because they're trying to find some kind of phone or whatever to call help.
Right.
Until they open up one of the closets and see a dead girl that was hiding in there.
Right.
At this moment, they realize, okay, this is not a safe place because apparently this mutant family is here also. And then they run back out. And then they see an entire hall filled with old cars.
Yeah.
This is basically the same thing that happened in the first one.
Right.
This is also where they realize, okay, this is where this family lived.
Big mistake going to the factory. Yeah.
Exactly. That what they weren't aware of at the time, but this also shows like this is what just makes me believe that these are two not different families. They might be from the same family, but they are, different groups because
Yeah, it's
in
a
the first one,
community.
it was a community. In the first one, it was Three Fingers, and I assume his brothers. So this is a related, they're relatives. I mean, father, nephew, uncle, grandfather,
Yeah.
combination probably of those
Yeah,
things.
I think it's safe to assume that these guys, like we said before, are all related because I mean, in the end, we see Three Fingers as the one taking care of the baby. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
obviously family, all of it.
Yeah.
It's just that this is another part of the woods and another part of the family that live in another place, which is what makes this particular franchise really easy to keep telling stories because
Yeah.
it's never said how many of them live there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's
So
true.
it
That's true.
works really well to tell a
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. However, they notice screams. These are screams from Mike. So then they go down looking for Mike because
Yeah.
I'm not sure how, but somehow Nina and Football Guy get separated.
Uh, so as far as I remember, they both go to the same vehicle. So it's the vehicle that
Yeah.
was stolen from the film crew, and they hear
Yeah.
Mike screaming from inside. So he tells her to stay outside, and he's going to go in and save Mike.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So he goes in to save Mike, and he realizes that the screams that he's hearing from Mike are just from the computer screen that's in there because they're replaying his death from when they killed him. Right.
As bait.
As bait, right? And so you get this scene that Football Guy is looking at on the computer screen of Mike sitting in a chair, and the one of the girls, the redneck girls, approaches them with a meat cleaver, and the camera kind of falls to where it's at waist level, so all you see is Mike taped to a chair from the waist down, and you see the meat
Yeah.
cleaver kind of go up, and you hear chopping sounds, and then she throws his head down in front of the camera. So you see that he's been decapitated, right? And the minute that Football Guy turns around because he realizes it's a trap and tries to run away, he runs right into Jason. And outside where the other girl is hanging out, she gets taken by the female redneck. So yeah,
Yep.
she gets taken away by one, and he gets taken away by another.
However, then it cuts now back to the front room of the mutants. Football Guy is hanged up on a pole.
Yeah.
A railing from the building,
Highest nailed, yeah.
and Nina was locked up into a cage. This is like kind of like implying that they want to keep her as a pet.
Yeah. Well, because there is another girl in there. There's the
Yep.
body of another girl next to her when she wakes up, and the body is obviously like old and withered,
Yeah.
which means she probably starved to death because she refused to eat human flesh. Right. And so now she's the new pet.
They're keeping her as a pet
Yes.
because she says something to the mutant girl, and then she opens up the door and knocks her out with a gun.
Yeah.
When Nina wakes back up, she's strapped to a chair with barbed wire,
Mhm.
and the family is now having dinner. Like the boy,
Yes.
the son is kind of like teasing her with fly swatter,
This is
but
a homage.
They're
This
getting
is-
ready for their family dinner.
Yes.
And this is clearly what shows you that they plan on just keeping her as a pet.
Yeah. This is a direct homage to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This thing.
Yes.
This is scene per scene exactly like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You have her chained up at the table while they're eating human remains, and they force her to eat them as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nod to Toby Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. That's more or less exactly what this scene is. She is just like totally freaking out while they're trying to force her to eat a human meat. Eventually, the son gives up and forcefully crams it into her mouth.
Yeah.
While the others are laughing. Henry Rollins is in the other room wanting to come up. He's getting ready for everything. But then he has one of these radioactive this, I think, Geiger counter, whatever.
Yeah. His device goes off, they hear it, and then they all get up and run to the other room. He's already hidden himself in the floor, basically.
Yeah.
And so they're now pissed off because they know somebody's there, but they don't know where he is. So they just go looking for him. So Jason and the kids are looking around the house for Henry Rollins, and the mother decides, okay, while they're doing that, I'm going to get rid of the scraps that we have left over that we're not going to eat. So she walks into another room where there is this really cool fucking grinder, right? And it's built into the wall. It's like a 5 foot tall grinding beams that when you turn it on, it's an industrial grinder that grinds up pretty much anything that you throw into it. Of course, you immediately know that this is going to come into the plot of the movie in some way, right?
Yeah, of
Because it's
course.
obvious. While she's throwing away the extra meats that they're not going to eat into the grinder, because this is how they get rid of the stuff, Henry Rollins is underneath the floor, underneath a grate, looking up at her while she's throwing the stuff away. And of course, there's blood dripping from everything that she's throwing away, and it's just dripping all over his face. So he's slowly getting covered in blood as she's throwing away these body parts.
However, Henry Rollins manages to get out of that situation and is back down into the hall.
Yeah.
While the two kids are after him. Now, he cuts himself with a knife, trying to pull a blood trail, try to, kind of put the kids on a false trail. What he succeeds at, because the kids are looking around for him, don't know where he is. He makes a noise, then they run back behind two cars. Now, like they're going to get him until Henry Rollins shoots the kids with a dynamite arrow. He attaches an arrow to a dynamite and shoots the son with it. Now, of course, the daughter mutant tries to get the arrow off of him, but fails, and they both die. It blows both of them up. Henry Rollin instantly runs up to the mutant's front room, obviously trying to free now football guy and Nina. He manages to free Nina by sticking his knife through the barbed wire and pulling it out a little bit. And she can pull out her arm. Still hurts like hell, by the way.
Yeah, it looks like it hurts like hell because it's...
Yeah, however, he manages to free Nina and cut her foot loose, walks up to football guy, cuts free his legs and his arms, wants to tell them how to get out until he gets shot in the back by Jason. At this point, Henry just tells them, get the other two to get out of there. Then they just run. They just run for it. The football guy gets caught by the mother, and she lures him into the grinding room. No? Right. Nina's managed to get entirely out of the factory, but decides to go back to football guy and help him out.
Right.
Because, well, a lot of people in this situation would have just ran out of panic. But
yeah, I mean these two characters are in shock, man. I mean they've both lost a lot of blood. And it's obvious because when Henry Rollins' character gets them both loose, they're both kind of listless. Like they don't really know where they are, and exactly. They're kind of out.
However, then a short fight starts between Jason and football guy because he's now in the same grinding room with him and the mother. No. Jason wants to put football guy through the grinder until he's stopped by Nina. She bites him even in the neck.
Bites him in the neck. Takes a big chunk of his neck out.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah. Manages to push him towards the meat grinder where he goes in with the arm. Yeah. Mama Mutant comes in, pushes him aside, and tries to get Jason out. Yeah.
Which she does. She's able to pull him away from the machine, but he's already lost his whole arm, right?
He lost his whole arm. At this moment, Nina manages to push a button that lets a tree log. Both come ramming into Ma and Jason, pushing them through the meat grinder. I mean, killing them. There's no way they're coming back from that. Even though
it's a good meat grinder scene too. You get this you get this scene in a lot of horror movies where somebody goes into a wood chipper or they go into a grinder or something like that. I had to go to YouTube to pull up the full kill because obviously Amazon edited the shit out of it. But the kill itself is really good because you see both of them slowly go into the grinder and their legs are kicking, and that's the only thing that you see as they're slowly dragged into the grinder. And then you see from the back of the grinder this big bucket of like blood and parts that's on the ground where the grinder normally throws the parts, and it's just spewing out of the back of the grinder. So it's just great bloody takeout scene of both of these characters. Awesome effect.
Yeah, that is like pretty much then Nina and football guy, like, okay, now we can get out of here. How are we gonna do this? No. They go back into the warehouse and see a nice red car that has like a windshield that's a little bit damaged.
Which was
And then,
Kimberly's car.
yeah, well, it was Kimberly's car,
Yeah, it
exactly.
was Kimberly's
Find
car.
Kimberly's car.
Yeah.
So while they're walking down, football guy is like, "Yeah, you didn't have to come back for me." And then Nina looks at him like, "Bite me."
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is also where you have like the typical asylum dialogue. The
Yeah.
football guy says something there like, "Yeah, well, we can take this car," and then Nina says something on the lines of, "Yeah, well, this psycho hillbilly owe us at least that."
Yeah.
I mean, this is like
It's
this is
very,
like
very cringy dialogue. You're
it's
right.
cringy. This is normal Sharknado dialogue. You know,
Yeah.
like the asylum.
And you have to
However,
wonder
they
how
get
much of this is on purpose too, because you know that these
probably.
filmmakers know that they could have done better with the dialogue, but at the same time, I think they think it's funny to do stuff like this,
Yes, I
and
mean
that's why they
this.
do it.
I mean, I also had the feeling just because it feels so much like an asylum movie that a lot of these things are purpose or intentional.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, Nina and football guy drive off with Kimberly's car, and then it cuts back to chemicals through the water.
And the runoff from the factory is just pouring directly into the water supply. So it was
Yeah.
never, and this is interesting because it was never like ground seepage, which if you have a chemical factory or anything like that, there's regulations that are put in place to make sure that that kind of thing doesn't happen. But this factory specifically, instead of just letting it run into the ground and poison everybody slowly, they've had a pipe directly come from the factory and directly into the water supply,
Yeah.
which explains why these people are so fucked up, because the water that they are drinking and everything is directly from the source. It's not even diluted. You know what I mean?
You can you see you see Three Fingers fill this goo into a bottle and feed it to the mutant baby. The
Yeah.
baby doesn't want it, so Three Fingers decides to give a human finger instead.
So like the baby, it's cool because the baby doesn't want the bottle, right? He
Yeah,
doesn't want the
yeah,
bottle at all. So what do? I don't have kids, but I know, right? So if a
yeah,
baby starts screaming and crying and doesn't want to eat, you give it a pacifier. So what he did
yeah,
was
yeah.
he took the finger as a pacifier and gave it to the baby to suck on, which is fucking hilarious. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I don't think that I originally saw any of these after the first one because I figured it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
I just figured it was going to be bad because if the first movie, it left it open with a cliffhanger because you see Three Fingers at the end is still alive and he attacks the final girl. And so you knew you were going to get a part two. The question was, were they going to fund the part two with the same amount of money and budget as they did part one? And when I saw
Yeah.
the preview for part two, not but like a year after the first one came out, I was like, oh no, that's going to be bad. I don't want to see it. Right. But I'm glad I've seen it now because it is not terrible. It's not, it's a fun movie.
It's not, how should I say it? This is the Wrong Turn franchise. It's for extreme horror hardcore fans,
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, I do think there's a reason why only the first one was successful. It's the only one that I would call objectively a very good, well-made movie.
Yeah.
Duh.
The first one was a great
And also one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And I would say part two was fine. It was fun. It's enjoyable, but it's extreme B movie. And as far as I remember, they're all like that.
Yeah.
Like Wrong Turn 2.
Yeah,
I
that's what I've
saw
heard.
Wrong Turn. I saw, I think, Wrong Turn 3 and maybe 6. I mean, 4, 5, or 6. I'm not sure which one of them I saw. No? But however, 3 is, well, kind of on the same level as 2.
Yeah.
It just doesn't jump that much in between. Duh?
Right.
It's more easy to follow the story.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, it's mainly Three Fingers that's after them.
Yeah.
In Wrong Turn 3. Mainly
Okay.
Three Fingers. Huh?
Do we get the original actor back at least?
I'm not sure. I really can't tell you. Okay, well, it shows here clearly Three Finger as the main antagonist of the Wrong Turn franchise.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, I'm not sure about the actor. Julian Richens. Let me guess. No, he doesn't come back. Huh? He actually only plays Three Finger
In the first.
in the first movie.
Okay.
The character is played by probably, if the way it looks, he's played by a different actor in every single movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
sure I need to see anything past this one because I don't think it goes back uphill. You know what I mean? In terms of what they did. This one, I'm not sure how well this one did, but
I
it
don't know
obviously
either.
did well enough that they continued making sequels.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm fine with that because honestly, it's fun. You can't really go wrong with it. So if you're into like if you're a fan of movies like trauma films like The Toxic Avenger or anything like that, if you thought any of that was good and you found it entertaining, then this movie's for you. Absolutely. Because it has all that. It's got the buckets of gore, it's got funny moments, and the story is not terrible. So it's a good movie. A good horror movie.
Yeah.
I can't really say it was bad. There's some cringy dialogue, but I think that's to be expected. I think even the first one had some cringy dialogue.
I don't remember it. I don't actually remember it.
There's some, but I mean, these movies are not without camp, and you can't go into a movie like this or even the first one without, you know, getting some campy parts. You know,
Yeah.
and I actually
Definitely.
like camp. I think camp is great. I mean, that's the reason why Sharknado is fantastic. That's the reason why trauma films are fantastic. They're so bad that they're good.
Yeah.
And there's people that understand that. There are horror fans that understand that bad is good. And then there's people that are just like, what is this trash? You know what I mean? So it depends on what your tastes are. I like everything. As long as
Mm.
it's entertaining, it doesn't have to be believable. But you can't sell something as like a really good horror movie if it's like all camp, you know?
Yeah.
Like this is. Like it's like Army of Darkness. I think that movie is one of the most brilliant horror films I've ever seen, but it is just camp. The entire movie is just camp. But it's still great, you know?
Mm.
So you're not gonna get me saying a movie's bad because it's campy. And this is definitely campy as fuck.
Yeah.
You think it's worth seeing if you're a fan of the first movie?
I would say maybe. Depends. To be honest, if you like B movies and if you can find enjoyment in asylum movies and stuff like Sharknado, yeah. Maybe.
Okay. So I would recommend it personally. I would recommend it just because Henry Rollins and Kurt Kurtzinger are in it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, of course, if you're on that rule, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
But would I necessarily recommend it? I don't know. Not really. I mean, it's just like I said in our first episode with Wrong Turn. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
enjoyable. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
But I
It's
also,
not a
if I
must
would
see.
recommend what?
It's not a must see.
No, it's not. It's not a must see.
Yeah.
If you want to have like a fun, enjoyable horror movie that's a little bit cringe from time to time, okay, fine. It actually does do a few things that expands the world building and lore. What is cool, but for the most part, it's like I wouldn't have cared if this movie would have came out or not.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's also just like typical horror stuff.
Yeah.
You have people banging, then getting slaughtered.
Yeah. You know, there's another movie, and it's so close to the type of feeling you got from the first Wrong Turn movie that it almost feels like it's the same people. But did you ever see a movie called Feast?
What?
There's a movie called Feast.
No, I
Okay,
haven't seen.
so we have to put that one on the list if we can get away with it because that movie was original as hell and it dealt with radioactive monsters that took over a part of the desert where this bar is. And it is the most funny, gory movie that I've ever seen. It's like on my list of like really good, funny horror movies. And the acting is great. Henry Rollins is also in that one, as well as Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. He's also a character in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's worth doing. But the first movie was fantastic. The second movie was just like this. It's like it took the idea and said, okay, now we're just going to do a very low budget version of the first film. But it also ended up being okay. But they also did like 5 of those films as well. But Feast is one we're going to have to look into if you haven't seen it, because I'm interested to see what you think of that movie. Because if you like Wrong Turn, you'll probably like that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll put that one on the list somewhere else. You got anything else you want to say about this film?
No, I think pretty much we've said enough about it.
Okay. So our next film that we're doing is Scream 7, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Scream 7 is the next one, yeah.
Okay. And I promise we'll make it to the theater for this one. I know we were going to do Cold Storage, but that kind of fell through. We'll put Cold Storage somewhere else on the list and get back.
Yeah, we'll do it sometime else. So, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm interested in Scream 7, right?
Could be cool. Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this because this is supposed to be the end of the Scream series, which is hard to believe because they've said it before, right?
They said that since have they been saying that since Scream 3?
Yes. But they just can't get enough. And this is supposed to be the end. Of course, we already know Stu Macher comes back, the original killer, one of the original killers from the first movie. He's back. It's not clear whether or not he is the actual Ghostface character or not, but this is supposed to be the final showdown. Usually you can believe what the screenings say of movies. So this one's already been screened and the critics are like, yes, awesome film. So, okay, we're going to go see it in the theater for you and we're going to spoil the shit out of it for you. So just be prepared that the next episode is a spoiler episode for Scream 7. Yeah. So catch us on that one, and we'll see you guys next week. Until then, I'm Matt.
I'm Mike.
We'll see you guys later.
See you next time. Bye.
The blackest eyes, the darkest eyes.